Well, I haven't taken as much time to work on the electric brewing system as I wish that I would have. But I'm also still waiting for parts. I'm missing that second pump. And one of my two cheap Chinese controllers quit working, so I'm going to order some better ones and get all of this stuff in the box like I talked about before. But I really wanted to test the theory, so I'm about to mash in. I got 65°C for my current temperature. My recirculation pot is going pretty good there. I'm having a hard time keeping the tree pollen out of there. There's the heat exchange coil and the element that is running. It's kind of a test to further validate what I didn't know about this style of brewing. Today I'm brewing a all-American honey pale ale from the folks at More Beer, and I'm just about to dough in. It's got 1.5 pounds of wildflower honey that go into the boil right near the end of the boil. I'm going to be using gas today to boil because, like I said, I don't have that other kegel completely finished yet, and I only have one controller, so I'll do that part the traditional way. This is a 5-gallon batch, and I'm starting with about 7 3/4 gallons of water. I hope to pull about 6.5 gallons out of there and boil down to about 5.2. So I've doughed in. My cheap little Harbor Freight sprinkler pump is doing the job. Starting to pick up some color in my beer wort, and it dropped the temperature 1 degree. It kicked on the heating element. Incidentally, now that I got this thing almost done, I'm learning that I probably really want a single vessel system. I had shied away from the brew in the bag concept because it sounded dumbed down to me, but when you refer to it as a single barrel system or a single vessel system, and everything happens in one vessel, it just makes a lot more sense. So as soon as I get this finished, I may build one of those. So 15 minutes in, I'm seeing conversion, and I don't know if you can see that or not. Brix readings of about 7%. This is a thinner mash because you put all the strike water in there. Don't forget, I'm going to boil down like you traditionally would, but you're not going to have that split if you're used to batch sparging of a very high gravity first runnings and then homogenizing that with a weaker gravity second runnings. This is all happening at 68, and I want to, just prior to mash out, I want to run that up to about 75 and leave it at 75 for about 5 minutes. I've got about a total of 22 gallons here, and I currently have a 4,500 watt element installed. I have a 5,500 watt, but I didn't think I needed it, and I like the lower power because this thing draws an awful lot of current. But it takes about 4 minutes for each 1 degree Celsius of temperature change, given this amount of water and my current outside ambient temperatures. It's about 75 out, but it's fairly windy, so I'm probably experiencing some thermal loss from the hot liquor tank because the wind's carrying the heat away. So 5 minutes plus 8 times 3 is 21 minutes. So what I'll probably do is about 25 minutes before I'm done, I'll dial this up to 75, get the final sugars into the wort. Now I guess it's technically wort, and see if I can't get this Brix reading up around 11 or 12. This particular recipe calls for an OG of 1054 to 1059, but of course that might be after the addition of that wildflower honey. Okay, so I'm at the end of my hour. I dialed this up to 74, and we've got to 73 Celsius. I had a little foam going on. I'm not sure what has caused the foam. I think I'm getting a little pump cavitation here. It's probably the grain bed has set, and that pump is struggling. So one last measure of my refractometer here, and I'm seeing about 8. It's not as high as I would like, so 8 times 4, 32, and I'll probably pick up maybe 4 points from pre-boil concentration down to my starting boil, so that'll be 1036. And then when I throw the honey in there, that'll probably add another, I'm kind of guessing, maybe 0.8. So it looks like I'm going to be a little short on my efficiency. I don't know, maybe some of you commenters can post a comment on that as to why I'm missing my efficiency. So last step, I'm running out the wort into the boil kettle, and then from here on out it'll proceed like a more traditional boil and add your hops beer. So I'm glad I've done this, but I still got some bugs to work out. Maybe a spray rig on top of here instead of just a recirc system would get that foaming down a little bit. My final gravity reading was about 9 bricks. So that's 36. That's a little better starting point than 1032. So I picked up 1036 on what I'm running into the kettle right now. I'm going to boil for 15 to 20 minutes before I add or start my timer, just to try to concentrate all of those sugars a little bit more, get as close as I can to the recipe's original gravity. Thanks for watching.